Affinity Photo can have custom panels. Here's one, just a very quick custom panel that you can manipulate an image, in this case the zoom blur as well as transforms of a pattern. I'm just going to show you how, and it uses macros. So let's just go right back to the start and now create a very quick macro. Well, where are the macros? Well, you go to Window and down here to Macro, also useful, Library. So I've got this image selected and I'm just going to apply some effects to it. So first one, filters, I'm going to go to blur, and instead of zoom blur I'm going to use maybe motion blur. Let's just go with that one. And in motion blur you've got a radius and you've got rotation. So let's just move this around. You can manipulate that and click apply. Now I'm not recording it at the moment. So if I want to record it, I need to click this first. So just go over here to the macro, as mentioned in the window menu, just click here. So now that motion blur will be recorded. So filters, blur, and down to motion blur. And then, like I say, you can change the radius, you can change the rotation. I'm going to go with that. That looks quite dramatic. And click apply. And you can see straight away, it's stored away over here in macro. Now, obviously, it'd be nice to add a few more things. Maybe you want to recolor it. Now, what you can do, you can also record that as well. So layer, and you can go down here to new adjustment layer, and I'm just going to go with curves. So you could use any of them, just a slight tweak here. Let's just tweak it a bit so you can see, make it darker. Okay, and close that. Now, at this point, you'll notice you've got this layer, which is not actually what I particularly want. So I'm going to undo, and that goes. So if you're not happy with it, undo that one as well. Good thing is just to merge it and work with one layer. I think you end up confusing yourself if you do otherwise. So now I'm just going to go to layer and new adjustment layer and down again to curves. But this time, just make it darker, but click merge. Super useful. If you forget, you can always undo. So that's a key thing. So merge, and now it's all done. Well, I'm going to add something else as well now. I'm going to go for another filter. So filters, always one of my favourites, distort and deform. You can add a whole load of deforms. Unfortunately, this is another thing to point out, not everything's recorded. This is recorded, all the various distortions. So the distortion, if I distort it like this, I'm just going to drag this out. But the actual pins, positions of, none of that, unfortunately, is recorded to the motion, this over here, the macro. So you can't sort of go in here and then tweak them later on. But click apply. But what is available is this option, the master. So click apply. You can see now at the side you've got these. Well, you can see some haven't. Well, those ones will not appear on that panel. I'm going to do something else. So I'm just going to go here, layer, and new pattern layer from selection. And you can see now I've got that pattern. Then I can drag this around. And also, if you go over here, you've got the move tool, I can go for mirror. So then I can see that. And also you'll notice what happens, it's also storing this transform. Now, it's probably nice to actually do the transforms and everything in one go. If you do it over multiple, just like I've done, it's recorded multiple ones. And that means you're going to get a lot of transform options to store if you want to do exactly all these options. Okay, that's enough, I think. I'm going to stop it. So just go over here and stop recording. Well, now I can manipulate this still. I can still work on this. I can still do various things. I can resize it, all those sort of things. But I'm just going to get rid of it. Don't want that now. Actually, I'm just going to put it all the way back. Now that doesn't lose all the information here. Luckily. It'd be annoying if it did. But you can see I can just put it back, all the way back to this one. Okay. So now this one I am going to play it. But before I do that, I can go down here and set these. Just click edit, and to actually make it visible, click the radius. So click the radius, and now you can give it a name. And I'm going to go with motion blur radius. Now it's a pity the feature doesn't do that automatically for you. I wish it would. Why not put the filter name and the setting? Would be so easy, but unfortunately it doesn't do that. That would make it a lot quicker. You can see here, curves adjustment doesn't have any option, so I can't tweak that or change it. But here I've got deform. Now you wouldn't think that would have much, but click here again, and you've got master, so it's useful. I'm just going to call it deform strength because that's what it is. It's called master, but deform strength. Okay, also transform. Gain pattern, there's no sort of functions and things you can tweak there. So just click here, and now you can see, this is one problem with this. If you click scale, let's just click scale, it comes up here. I'm just going to go with this. I could do it with all the others, but as mentioned, you get them for all of these. So you could set up individual names for all of them. It becomes a bit messy if you do multiple transformations in the macro. And also you notice there, the panel's gone. So I have to click it again and now click on this one. So it's a bit of a fiddly thing just to go through each of them. And again, click here again, and let's just go for rotation. I'm not worried about the offset. Now I could go down to some of these other ones, and you can see here, these ones are not available. I mean, they're not set, I should say. But you can, of course, set them. Maybe what this time, let's have the offset, and that's it. So I'm just going to go with this. Now, when I run it, instead of just running the macro straight through, doing it, which is fine, I can now click here, play, and this panel will pop up. And you can see you get this design very quickly. You've got this visual display, but now you can modify all of these settings. So if you don't want such an extreme motion blur, you can always reduce it down. You can see then you go push it down 22, 7.8 and so on. You can also push it the other way and get a lot more blurring effect and so on. Also deform strength. Let's just change that. So as you do that, you can see that changes there as well. And also scale. So let's push scale for X. And then you can, of course, get a lovely horizontal effect, stretching it out very quickly like that. And also rotation. Let's just rotate it. So it's going off in that direction. And offset as well. I can just do an offset effect there. And you can see you get something like that. And then click apply. Now you can see here's the pattern. Still got pattern. It's done all that. And then you can resize that. Let's just resize this, just push this down like that. And there's the effect there. Now, what you can also do is you can apply this again if you want to. You can just run it. And I'm just going to quickly run it now. So click here and you can see now applied there. Now you don't have to, of course, modify any of these settings. You can just keep it as and click apply and it's done. And you can see now I get another pattern and so on, because of course the pattern is in there. So it's adding a pattern from the pattern to create all kinds of abstract designs, which of course, once you've done that, you can go over here to layers and you can see you've got 3 layers to work with. You can always go through and use blend modes, maybe go with lighten or overlay or soft light or so on, hard light. And you can see you combine them to create some very interesting and weird designs, which of course you can merge them all together. Just select here, all merged by selecting that, going to layer and then down to merge selected. Though personally, I always prefer just go merge visible. So they all merge visible and then I just delete the ones below. Because merge selected for some weird reason doesn't always seem to result in what you think from the visual display. I don't know why. So, and just delete them like that. And there you have it, a very quick design, which again, you can use via this macro. Well, you can also, of course, it's great doing this. You've got this lovely macro here with all these, a couple of these settings here. But you might want to use it in future. All you need to do is go here. There's an option here, add to library. All these settings here will be added. Now you can, if you want, you can disable them at any time, so you don't have to have that effect in the actual thing. But I'm just going to go with all the settings and just click here, add to library. And I'm just going to call it, not motion, I'm just going to call it motion pattern. Misspell it as well, that's even better. And click OK. Now it's still in the library, you can always go to window and down to library. There's the library. Where is the library? Here, here's the library. And it's got a few things in, motion pattern. So just click and you can see now applied, you get the panel again. And then you can tweak it, modify it and click apply. And there it's done. You've got a lovely, very quick, lovely effect. What would be nice would be if these library functions could be designated as filters as well. Why not? It'd be nice to be able to just get them here so you could have a sort of like library function here and then just select them here instead of having a panel. I always think that a panel sort of tucks it away. It would be nice as an additional filter option here, which you could pick up obviously when it starts up. If you've got any thoughts, questions about this, always great to hear from you. A like or dislike, always appreciated. Bye.